So here you can see the first step mentioned here is to create the required IAM roles. So we need to create 3 IAM roles and attach the suitable policies. First we need to create an IAM role for the API gateway to access the SQS and attach the policy called as Amazon SQS full access policy to it, and then name it as API gateway to SQS. And then similarly create IAM roles for IAM roles for the Lambda as well. To one, there are actually 4 lambdas here. One lambda is to start the state machine, another 3 lambdas to access the DynamoDB and do the backend processing. So for those 2 lambdas, create separate roles and attach the policies accordingly. For one of them we need the AWS step function full access policy, another 3 of them we will need the DynamoDB full access policy attached to them. So once the IAM roles are created, the next step is to create the queue. So let's go to the SQS, Amazon SQS, and then click on the create queue. You will get a screen where we wanted to select the type of the queue. Here for us the standard queue is sufficient. We can create with the standard queue, mention the queue name as food order, and then let the other defaults be there, and let's go ahead and create the table. So once the queue is created, the next step is to create the API gateway. Let me show you the existing one. So what we have done, we have created a slash place order resource. Under that we have created a method called as post method, and in this method if you see the integration request, the main thing is the mapping. Rest are all the same, similar to what we have done in the previous project. The integration type would be the AWS service, and the region and the service to AWS service should be SQS. The method should be post, and yeah, this is to be noted that the action type should be use path override, not the action name but use path override. And we may have to come back here by taking the queue URL of the queue SQS queue that we have just created, and we need to paste it here. And also whatever execution IAM role that we have created on the step 1 for the API gateway, we have to paste the ARN here, and then come to the last part, give the mapping templates as this entry. Okay, so for this this is very important because what it will do, it will encode the message that you send as a body to this API response, and it will transfer to the corresponding Lambda trigger. So that this is very important. Okay, so that is once it is done, click on the, so when you go ahead with a new API, you may have to go here and then click on create API, choose the REST API, create and build, and then follow the same procedure that we have mentioned while showing the integration request. So next step is to create, once you have created the API gateway, the next step is to create 4 Lambda functions. So for creating the Lambda function, come to AWS Lambda, and then the first Lambda is to create start the step function. Okay, so let's come here, and if you see you go ahead, give it a name as start step function. So we have mentioned here start step function, and then choose the runtime as Python 3.10, and then let the architecture be x86. Go ahead and create the function, and in the execution role you need to give the execution role that we have created in the step 1 for the start state machine. So this particular lambdas IAM ARN, we need to paste it here. So once it is pasted, we can go ahead and create the function. So once you create the function, go ahead under the code section, paste stepfunction.py, copy this function, and copy this code snippet and paste it here under in the lambda function.py, and then click on deploy, so that your changes will get reflected. So one thing to note is that we may need to come and update the state machine ARN later, but we will do it in the next step. So once the start step function Lambda is created, come back to the Amazon SQS queues, select the food order queue, and then click on the Lambda triggers and configure Lambda function trigger. and then you need to choose the start step function lambda that was created just now, and then click on save. The next step is to create the other three lambdas, which are all similar kind of steps. So we need to come to the create function, give the name as mentioned here, step function approve order, and then you have to copy step from here and create it. The only difference is that the IAM role that we will be creating while creating the other three lambdas is this one, the IAM role that we have mentioned, that I have mentioned that we have to create an IAM role in the step 1, which is going to be called as Lambda to DynamoDB role, where we have the DynamoDB full access policy attached to it. That needs to be given for the other three Lambda functions. So there are three Lambda functions. Remember, one is to approve order, process order, and ship order. So totally we have created 4 Lambda function in these steps. So once those 4 Lambda functions are created, the next step is to create an SNS topic. So for that, let's come to the AWS SNS topics, click on create topic, and then once the topic is created, create a subscription and mention your protocol as email, and type the email ID in which you wanted to get the notification. So once that is also done, the next step is to create the corresponding DynamoDB table that we need to store in as our backend for this application. Let's come to DynamoDB table, and then create a new table. Go ahead and then create a table. So it is to note, give a table name as a food order, and then food underscore order. You need to give the partition ID as order underscore ID, which should be a string, and sort key as the creation underscore time, and then go ahead and create the table. So once the table is also created, the next step is to create the state machine step function. We need to be very careful while creating the state machine step function. You come to the let me go over this. So before you come to this step, we need to be ready with all the ARNs that we have created above. So once you go to the step function, and then click on create state machine. So let it be started from the blank and create select, and in the code section you need to copy the step function state machine config.json that I have given in this GitHub page. You copy this and then copy it in a temporary notepad for a while, like this, and update the suitable or the corresponding lambda function ARN that you have created on the step 4, 5, 6. You need to update the step function of the approve order, and then the process payment, and then ship order. These 3 lambda ARNs, and then the last, the topic ARN of the SNS topic that we have created for this food order. That needs to be updated in these 3 places, and in the lambda ARN and in these 3 places. So once all these things are updated, copy the updated step function state machine config.json content of it, and then come to the state machine code section and paste it here. So once you paste it here, okay, once you paste the content here, you will get a new state machine. Okay, so then you can go ahead and create it. It will create the corresponding resources. So that is our step 10. So once that is created, then you can go ahead and do the demo. For the demo, you can go to the Postman, whatever API that you have created in the APIGateway, deploy it and try to get the full API URL and test and path. Okay, this would be my fully qualified API. So I will paste it here, choose post, and then in the select the raw, and then I will give the message type as message, and then click on send. So once you send it, you will receive the response. Once get the positive response, come back and see if the state machine has got a new state machine or not. You can see the state machine running here, and then you can see we have I have configured payment processing in such a way that it would run for one thing, it will show as payment as processed, and other choices it will show payment has failed. Because if you see the payment code, so I've just in order to mimic the true and false of the payment processing, I've just put a random choice of true or false, so that we will be able to see the different executions of the Lambda, what path it takes. Okay, and that is the demo. So if we rerun, this time it is success. The email, we have got a message showing the order ID is generated and the shipment is done. Okay, and if we can come to the DynamoDB table and explore the table items, we can see we have got the orders here and the corresponding entries here. For some we have marked the payment as failed and the payment and order is not shipped, and for the other we have done that it is being shipped and the payment is completed. So yeah, so this is the overall step-by-step guide for the food order application. Thank you for watching.